Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. In today's video I will share my top tips to have a successful bulk. Now, if you're not familiar with the term bulking, it basically means you want to gain muscle through eating more calories than you're used to eat. That basically means you will gain weight, but you know, a lot of people just fail at having a successful bulk. They gain weight, but that's it. They don't gain muscle mass. They gain weight through extra fat mass, and that is not the most optimal way, as you can guess. So yeah, in today's video I will share my top tips, because it's way more than just eating a lot of food. So we have two important factors. First of all is your nutrition, and second we have our training regime. Now, food is key regarding results. You know, you can train as hard as you want, as much as you want. You can train 24/7, you know, let's put the ultimate example, but if your nutrition is not on point, you won't have the best results, or the results you are maybe looking for. So please, if you want to gain muscle, first of all, have a look on your nutrition pattern. You know, how much do you consume? Do you eat enough protein? Do you eat enough carbs? Do you eat enough fats? First of all, how many calories should you eat? Well, it depends on your starting point, because as you can guess, people with overweight, let's say people that have over 25% percentage of body fat, it is not optimal to eat even more calories than they are used to eat, because as you can guess, they already have a high body fat percentage. So eating even more won't have an anabolic response in the body, so they will just store the extra energy as fat mass. So that's not optimal, and that's absolutely not what we want. So people with overweight just can gain muscle even when they are in a caloric deficit. So for those people, it's, you know, it's cool. They can lose fat mass and build muscle all at the same time. Now, for advanced trainees, so for example for me, I've been training now for 5 years. I just have to do it in different phases. You know, I have phases where I'm cutting, you know, where I'm lowering my overall body fat percentage, and then I have phases where I, you know, bulk for several weeks or several months, because our body will not respond that fast anymore, because, you know, it's used to what we do, it's used to the resistance training, it's used to what we eat, and so it will be just harder to see results. Now, for advanced trainees, it is recommended that you eat a little above your maintenance calories. I would say around between 300 to 500 calories above your maintenance, and just see how your body reacts. You know, you can gain muscle between 0.9 until 1.8 kilograms each month. Yeah, so if we divide that into 4, it will basically mean around 200, 250, 300 grams each week on the lower end that you can gain. So it's absolutely not a lot, but yeah, it's just how it is, you know. It just takes time, and you have to be patient when you want to gain muscle. So that is something that you really have to take in mind. You cannot build, like for example, or gain 4 kilos of muscle mass each month. It's just not possible. It's unrealistic. Of course, people who take anabolic steroids, of course, will have more results and faster results than someone who is training natural. But you know, that's a whole other topic. I am now speaking to the people who are training naturally. Yeah, it just doesn't go as fast as you might hope. And now we immediately come to the next point, like how long should I bulk? Well, it totally depends on your goals. For example, if your goal is to build like solid muscle mass on the quads or the hamstrings or the glutes, I would advise to bulk at least for 3 to 6 months at least, and then after, you know, start a cutting phase very slowly. As you can guess, I told you guys you can gain between 200 and 300 grams of muscle mass each week, which is absolutely not a lot. So imagine if you only bulk for like 6 weeks. Yeah, it won't make that much of a difference, you know. It won't leave you with spectacular results. So yeah, it's just your personal preference, and also, you know, keep in mind that you will also gain a little bit of fat mass. That's just a normal response to the extra calories you are eating, so it's totally normal. It's for everybody the same. It's just about you accepting the way you look, and, you know, be confident in your skin. And yeah, so that is the thing about your calorie intake. Now, I want to say that some people, they just add more calories and more calories and more calories, but as I told you, there is a limit in gaining muscle each week, each month. So it's not really beneficial that you add more and more and more calories, that you are just, you know, way over consuming, because all the extra energy will just store as body fat, and that's absolutely what we don't want, you know. We want to gain muscle with as less fat gain as possible. So yeah, I would advise, you know, starting between 300 and 500, and then add a little bit each 2 weeks, each 4 weeks, depending on how your body responds. But don't eat like 2000 calories above your maintenance, because it's just not necessary. That's just way too much. And also, we come to the next point, like, a lot of people have a hard time to eat that much of calories, because as you can imagine, eating 3000 calories with only very healthy foods, you know, very low calorie dense foods, it's gonna be very hard to hit those 300 calories every day. So in a bulk, it is allowed, and I recommend it to my clients, to eat more caloric dense food. So you can cheat, you can eat more sugary foods, you can eat more carbs, you can just eat more delicious foods than, for example, in a cutting phase. So it is allowed, but just make sure that yeah, you hit your protein intake, because that is the most important, because our muscles are built out of proteins. Now, for protein intake, I recommend to go somewhere between 1.6 grams per kilogram body weight and 2.2 grams for each kilo of body weight. So if you are between this, you are safe and you are in an optimal position to gain muscle. Now, for me in particular, I always eat around 2 grams for each kilo of body weight. So yeah, everything you eat more, it won't harm you, but it is just not necessary. And of course, it's also very difficult to hit your protein intake daily, so I guess you will already have a lot of work to just hit those numbers. And then we come to our second macro, and that is carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates are the biggest energy source of all 3 macros. I personally want to keep my carbohydrates as high as possible, because, you know, I feel so much more energized when I eat a lot of carbs. But that's something you have to decide for yourself on, yeah, how you feel the best, you know, because everybody is different, of course, and, you know, some people just prefer to eat less carbohydrates than others. And then on the other hand, we have our fat intake, and this is very important for our hormones, so please don't forget this. I advise to go for a minimum of 1 gram each kilogram body weight, and then, you know, if you have this number and the protein number, then everything, all the calories that are left, you can just spend away for carbohydrates. So yeah, we have, I think, everything around nutrition, and then we have our training. Now, for training, what is very important to gain muscle mass, that is volume. Volume. I am a high volume queen. I've always trained that way, and it's just something I recommend. I had like really good results by having this training approach. So yeah, a lot of volume, frequency also. So if you want to train or develop one particular muscle group, then you just have to train it multiple times a week. If possible, around 3 to 4 times. Start with 2 times, build up to 3 times. 4 times is maybe a little bit too much, and for some people it's just not possible to have such high training frequency if they also want to focus on other body parts. But you know, training frequency and volume is so important, and yeah, and just switching up your routine, you know, don't stick always to the same workout. Do variation in sets and repetitions, methods, time under tension, exercises, but don't switch all of this too much. I always recommend my clients to have a specific training phase for 4 weeks and then moving on to the next training phase. So that means their routine changes every 4 weeks, because in those 4 weeks you can easily track your progress during each exercise, because you are repeating every exercise each week. You can very clearly see if you are progressing in strength levels and in form, you know, the way you execute the exercise. So that is another one. And then also cardio. If you are a cardio bunny, please, 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 if your goal is to build muscle, we want to do as less cardio as possible. And the reason why is because we are eating more calories than we are used to eat. So if you additionally add more cardio, you will actually burn those extra calories that you are eating, which are meant to build muscle, you know. So it's, you know, it works against each other. So take the cardio back. I won't say you don't have to do no cardio at all, but just to a minimum, you know. If you like doing cardio, like for example, I do like cardio, and I do it mainly to keep my stamina high. I don't know if I say this correctly, you know, for good condition and to be, yeah, I don't know, high stamina. I hope this does not sound stupid, but yeah, I do it all year round, but to a minimum level, you know, and then when I'm cutting, I just add more cardio when I like to and when I need to. So that was basically everything I wanted to tell you around nutrition and training for having an optimal bulk. Yeah, I try to keep it short and not dive deep into every subject, so I hope it's very clear. I want to give you like a little summarize right now with the most important things that you should keep in mind. So first of all, if you're overweight, don't go into a caloric surplus. No, instead go into a caloric deficit. You can build muscle and lose fat mass at the same time. Second of all, advanced trainees just like me, or people who are new into fitness, or people with a lower body fat percentage, should eat in a caloric surplus to have the most optimal results. So start eating with 300 calories above your maintenance, and then you know, see whether you are progressing or not, and then you can up your calories. I advise to up each time with around 100 to 150 calories, and then just wait a little bit and see how your body responds. So how you divide your macros is something you have to choose personally and find out for yourself, except, you know, the protein. Make sure you are between those two numbers, and then, you know, for carbohydrates you can just have a number on what you feel the best at. And then we come to the training regime. So volume was very important, as I told you. I always strive to have at least between 16 to 20 sets each week for a particular muscle group. If you have been doing this for a long time, then it might be possible that you need to even go higher into sets each week. So then we will just pass 20 sets each week. And then also cut the cardio, because cardio, yeah, you don't want to burn the extra calories you are eating. That just makes no sense at all. So minimize the cardio. And then number 8, be patient. Be patient, because building muscle takes a lot of time, girls and guys. And yeah, you know, it just doesn't happen overnight, because otherwise everybody would look, you know, insane, big, muscly. So yeah, it's the process, and first of all you need to enjoy the process. You need to enjoy your training, your nutrition, and, you know, yeah, just allowing your body to respond and to grow. So I will end this video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful in some way, that you can learn something. If this video was helpful, please let me know down below in the comments. And if you have any recommendations for a future video, please let me know down below as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Mwah!